back with Uncommon Experts. Today we're meeting with Carmen Shearer, a professional motivational speaker as well as a life coach. Carmen, why don't you tell us about your motivational speaking right now? You mentioned earlier in the program about how you've given speeches, motivational speeches in 10 different countries, and also give speeches in English and Spanish. What sort of things do you talk about?
Well, I have several topics that I can do for a corporation, you know, in different formats, keynotes, breakout sessions, or workshops. But by far, my most popular presentation is one called Reaching Your Ideal, where I take the audience through a 5-step process that I've designed to help them become their ideal self. This is very powerful because they can use it not only, as you imagine, a corporation will hire me to help them motivate them to be a good employees, but they will be able to use it in their personal life, which just makes it even more powerful, because once they start using this to become, you know, ideal husband or the ideal parent or ideal community member, anything in their personal life, then it will have more intrinsic value for them to be able to, as a second nature, implement it at work and then get that result that the company was looking for. Because with my business experience, I'm able to always know what the management team is coming from. But because I also a coach, I'm able to get to the audience and bring the best out of them.
What are the 5 steps?
It's the first one will be the impression that you have on yourself or anything around you. The second is the disposition you have towards life.
Well, let's talk about the first one for a minute. Most people have a feeling of what they're projecting. Is that normally on base?
It is, and a lot of people have the fear of your surrounding, and they don't tap into the real powerful self, just being so worried about what everyone else is going to think, everyone else is going to do. So you have to have a very, very strong impression of yourself. Everyone is worried about what impression I make on someone else. But what about the impression you're making on yourself?
So it's more internally based then?
Absolutely.
And what's the second one?
The disposition you have towards life. What's your attitude?
Now, is that a nature versus nurture question? Can people really change their worldview?
Absolutely. That is something that you learn. And you can every day, through affirmations and thought process, learn how you feel or how you are, how your disposition is towards anything you do.
Do you have any skill builders for that? Because I know some grumpy people who could really use a little cheering up.
Well, it comes up with the coaching experience. There is a lot of techniques that, as a coach, I'm able to tap into to bring that part of them.
Can you give me an example of that?
Well, it's a lot of questioning and trying to get yourself into a point of resource. You usually go back, even if it's when you were in school or something, a point where you feel powerful, a point where you were invincible. Usually when you're a teenager, you can relate to that. And just bring back that situation to your present life and see what resources you had available right there and why you were so happy about life. But all of a sudden you are not. But what happened in between, and how can you manage that? And how can you make a conscious decision today to change your disposition?
So it sounds like you have a whole arsenal of skills there that you can use to help somebody really change their attitude about life.
Absolutely.
And changing that attitude has a direct effect on how good things happen to you?
Absolutely, it does. And it affects all the other steps, you know, as a component of these 5, because the next one is your execution. In order for you to achieve anything, you have to act on it. And how your disposition is will directly affect how you execute on the steps you need to take in order to achieve your goals.
And do you have a philosophy that you're tapping into, or where did you come up with these ideas from?
Well, a lot is looking back at my life and wondering and questioning why this middle-class woman, minority, that was born in the United States, was able to thrive and be successful in all these areas. What was different about me than the rest of the world? But you know, I didn't want to be egocentric and think that it was all about me. So I actually study success. To be successful, you have to study success. So I've taken the time to study successful people and try to come up with the common ground, what we all have in common to be able to do what we do. And that's how I come up with these 5 steps.
And what was the last step that you have?
Actually, there's the 4th one.
Oh, sorry.
It's the achievement and accomplishment of your goals. That would be the 4th. Because you have to be able to have a check progress in between to meet your goals. And the last one is the life you choose.
Okay, well, let's stay on number 4
Sure.
for a second. So I would imagine that in order to achieve your goals, you have to have reasonable goals and a plan of attack. As a coach, are you able to assist people with that?
Absolutely. One of the things I do all day long is challenge people's goals. And you mentioned we must have reasonable goals. We actually must have challenging goals, because the goals that are rewarding and they're going to make us grow as people and help us become our ideal self are those who challenge us, who take us outside our comfort zone. So it's very easy for someone to say, yeah, I want to do something that I know I'm going to get, but how is that good for you? You knew you were going to get it anyways. So go outside of your comfort zone and try to get a goal that you were otherwise going to be able to get.
So you're suggesting people get to take a bit of risk.
You have to take risks in life, otherwise where the fun will be.
And your last goal, or your last step?
The life that you choose to live. It's important. People think, oh, this is the life I got, I have to live it. No, you choose your life, you design your life. It's like you're an artist painting your master paint. That's what you do with your life.
And you also have assistance in envisioning a life that is different? Because I know a lot of people think this is what my life has always been, this is what I always have known. How can I think anything would be different?
Well, that's what coaching does. Through all the questioning and proving of your assumptions, your belief, your rules, because we create rules for our life. We decide what we call success, what we call failure. It's our own definition, because even if I ask you right now what success means to you, I ensure you whatever you want, that is not the same that it means to me. We all have our own definitions. So through coaching and coaching techniques, I'm able to break through all those old assumptions and make you rebuild, if you will, your rules and make them in a way that motivate you to go forward in life.
So I'm guessing it would make sense that someone would hire you as a motivational speaker and then maybe have workshops one-on-one afterwards. Is that how it normally works?
We can do either way, depend on the situation of the company. The motivational speaker part usually comes when you have an event and you want to address a larger audience, and the workshop is with a smaller group. I tell you that the difference between other speakers and myself, it's basically because you will measure the success of a presentation based on how well an individual part of the audience will implement anything that they learn or experience during the presentation. The tricky part here is that they would not do that unless they were able to create rapport, basically a common ground with the speaker. Because I have such an unconventional and diverse background, you know, from being a woman, diversity, speaking Spanish, also, you know, engineer who work in many different areas, I'm most likely to connect with the audience in relationship to other speakers. Therefore, they'll be able to learn, implement their learnings in the presentation.
Sounds exciting. Well, thank you for joining us today on Uncommon Experts. We've been visiting with Carmen Shearer, who is a professional life coach as well as a motivational speaker. Join us again next time on Uncommon Experts. I'm Doreen Lorenz.